this video, I want to talk a little bit about belief systems, or in other words, neural pathways, and how they really affect our everyday lives in terms of the decisions we make and just our whole physical reality, the people we have in our lives, or the way that people, relate to us and react to us. It's really profound that it is such a mirror. And I've been playing with this concept recently of like, what are we not? Because we grow up and we think I'm this, we think I'm that. I might be an introvert or an extrovert, or I might be good at this and not good at that. I might, battle to do this, and therefore this is not who I am. I might be good at something else. But just realizing, I think, more and more in life, within my own experiences, that what is this concept that we're not good at something? And if there's some form of a belief system there that's saying we're not good at this, or we shouldn't do that, it's going to really play out in that way in our physical reality. And we're going to find endless ways to sort of avoid this thing, of facing this thing. The mind really seems to work in a very sort of, I don't know if manipulative is maybe a bit of a strong word, but it's profound how sneaky it kind of is, and it really will find any way of avoiding, facing these fears and these limitations of ours. And with the tools, though, to start removing these belief systems, one finds oneself more able to kind of go to these places and to discover what's underneath there, and to make friends with this thing that you feared so hugely. This whole camera experience is definitely one of those for me. I've always had a fascination with video and cameras and stuff, and the beauty behind it, and the way of sharing information and knowledge and all those things. Yet at the same time, I'd utterly freeze if there was any camera pointed at me, and there essentially are no pictures of me growing up. I'd avoid cameras at almost any costs, unless I wasn't sort of aware of it. It was based on self-image and not being good enough, and a whole lot of subconscious belief systems that were obviously running or were running. And and then that kind of would manifest in the physical reality. With my experiences of cameras, I'd have them stolen, and the phone that I'm filming this with at the moment is a bit blurred out, as you might notice, because I've got a big screen case on there, and a screen cover, and a case on there, and I dropped it, and a rock managed to land in the corner there, the one little place that there's no protection on this phone, and it created two cracks, one down the middle of the screen and one straight through the selfie camera. And to me, it's just like, and then there was a whole lot of stuff that led on to that. It's just like, it's not random that kind of thing happened. The way I see life these days, it's just life showing us that there's a massive thing to be looked at there. There's something to possibly be unblocked there. And I still haven't been able to sort this camera, change the phone, because I think, I could have really forced it to change. And this is the interesting thing in life as well. We can force things to happen, but I'm surrendering more and more to kind of not putting a hell of a lot of effort into something, to put 100% into it and let it change when it's meant to. And I've part of a bigger picture is I've focused a lot of my past energy on having the right tech, whether it's cameras for things I want to film, even though I couldn't because I had such a block to it, or whether it was music related stuff or tools or whatever. I'd focus a heck of a lot of energy into the right tools and this and that, and now I'm kind of realizing, like, actually it's more important that we just start doing it, and we're active in kind of doing it, and the tools and all will support us and maybe make us have a slightly better product, or result. I don't know about the word product anymore, but actually the essence of it is facing the sphere, because there was a block there of mine, or still is, but it's definitely getting less. So yeah, I'm kind of talking myself down rabbit holes now, but essentially I'm just trying to really highlight the power of what a belief system is and how it affects us in the decisions we make and our physical reality. Another example, growing up, I had a really bad relationship with money and self-worth and kind of standing up for myself and all those kind of things, or many of those kind of things. Don't know what already would be. And so again, that was my reality. You know, I'd hardly ever have any work, and the occasional job that I would get in was like really difficult and challenging, and I'd be working with people that didn't want to pay and were kind of, you know, trying to get away with as little as possible. And of course I couldn't stand up for that, and of course I'd blame them, and I'd blame the situation, and I'd blame life, and I'd all of this kind of stuff. Eventually I was able to kind of shift that part of it, and then I started having a different kind of work where it was projects I enjoyed doing more. I didn't have to hustle or fight for the money, but it was very incredibly long hours, high pressure, high stress. And I thought, you know, that was my reality, and that was just life. And again, based on a lot of what I've been surrounded by growing up, it felt normal, or it sounded normal, yet my system just couldn't take the amount of pressure and stress. I'm a lot more sensitive than many are, which has been an interesting learning curve in itself. But essentially, yeah, after a few years of that, I burnt out entirely and had to just stop everything, and have spent the last 2 or 3 years essentially very unplugged from life, and it made me go even deeper into, you know, all this kind of subconsciousness to try and unpack it and understand it and whatnot. And, you know, again, I shifted some belief systems that work had to be hard, and I'm trying not even call it work anymore. I'm just trying to call it, you know, a creation or something that I am good at doing, or that I do, that I'm inspired to do, that someone else finds value in, and that's the exchange. So it's more like a co-creation that someone else feels values or wants a part of, or that I'm able to, you know, fill a role for someone else because their skill sets are somewhere else. And so, yeah, I was able to change some belief systems around the concept that work is hard, or making money is hard, and it involves stress and deadlines and all of that kind of thing. And now I've got that reality where I'm co-creating, I kind of call it, with people. It just feels so much more wholesome. That's why I can't really call it work. It's an old word thrown around, but it's not what I do to generate an income. Or to generate, I don't even know the words to use these days around income or not income. But again, it just really shows the mirror, you know. And although in the days gone by, you know, when I would work hard and stress and all that, although I might get more hours in and I might get more done, quote unquote, if you look back at the reality of what it was that I created back then, none of it would last or work out as well. I'd often have to redo things. Things would often break. Things would often, you know, not just work the way they should. And since then, you know, I've done 2 solar systems that have been very new to me as a concept. And we did it in this way. I had this amazing opportunity with this dear being, that we kind of did it in this way of no pressure, and when we felt inspired to, or I did it for him, should I say, or for them. And, you know, it might have taken a bit longer to do and to put together, or for things to come together, you know, to get the parts and all this. It wasn't, you know, we didn't pressure other people either in terms of suppliers and all. But as we put it together and, you know, trusted in the process of life, and as it unfolded, you know, since the day it switched on, we switched it on, it hasn't given a single ounce of issues. It's just run, and it's been running for 2 or 3 years now without an issue. And then we did the same. We did another solar system, same story. We did a whole lot of solar water geysers, same story. They just work. And now with the other projects I'm doing, you know, essentially the same thing. You know, I'm really trying to be mindful of what I'm feeling when I'm doing something and I'm feeling pushed or rushed, then I slow down immediately. I might just close my eyes and breathe, or just slow down and then continue. And the reality is, at the end of the day, I think we really get more done in that way than we ever would have had we pushed. So again, just that was a bit of a rabbit hole, but just really a sharing in terms of, you know, what it is that our belief systems are and how they manifest in the physical reality. And just an invitation to you, if there's something that's not feeling good to you, or that doesn't seem to make sense, or something that you're battling with, really just try and, you know, inquire into what's behind this. Why could it be happening in this way? What's the belief system that's running? Feel free to use muscle checking in terms of, you know, why am I having this experience? And use one of the shift tools to try and change that. And really don't try and change the outside world so much. Really start with changing within. It's hugely powerful, and I you know, can't, what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, it's just really powerful to be able to actually change the subconscious belief system, or the neural pathway, whatever you want to call it. To me, it's all the same thing, or the limited belief system, or the fear, or all of that. It's far easier to change that than even trying to change the outside world. So let that maybe be the invitation, that if you're battling with something, try and unpack what the belief system is, or what do you want it to become versus what it is, and try and mind shift that. And then just watch your physical reality, and see how and if it changes, you know. Be aware of what's going on around you. I mean, another possibility is this concept of I don't have time. I mean, maybe that's a belief system, you know. We grow up and it's often in conversation and amongst people, like, how are you doing? No, I'm busy. And busy is kind of seen as a good thing. To me, that's not something I want to look up to anymore. You know, it's, who wants to be busy? It's a frantic kind of way of life. You want to co-create. You want to make from an inspired place. Absolutely. But you don't want to be frantic. You don't want to be busy. So, like, if one were to change that belief system of being busy, and to rather create something from an inspired place, if we change that as a belief system, maybe our physical reality will actually change into that. You know, sort of concepts like that. So, like, really anything that's going on in your life that you don't feel nice about, that doesn't feel good to you, what is it? What's behind it? Is it actually serving you? Is it from love? And if it's not any of those, then why are we running with it? And again, you know, you don't have to maybe quit your job or do some radical thing, but change the belief system and see what happens after that. You know, maybe things will shift. Again, like everything in our physical reality really is a mirror of where we're at. Yeah, that turned it into a bit of a ramblish rant thing, but it's something that's really close to my heart, because and I've just mentioned a few aspects within my life, but there are so many more, you know, that I've realized this mirror. And again, when I change that subconscious belief system, how the physical reality changes. Okay, I'm going to leave that at this, and I hope you found it helpful. And yeah, I'll add another video in time. Lots of love.